you probably started walking somewhere around your first birthday. And chances are you haven't actually thought about walking since then. Sure, you walk every day, but you don't actually think about how it works. The muscles throughout your legs and torso working together to swing one leg in front of the other. Your nervous system controlling the whole thing and making adjustments on the fly to balance on icy sidewalks or uneven ground. We all take walking for granted day in and day out, until you suddenly lose your ability to walk. That's what happened to Jeff Howe after a motorcycle crash in 2018 resulted in 5 surgeries.
It took me about between 2.5 and 3 years to recover. Pretty immobile for a lot of that, and then went through kind of stages of immobile to barely mobile, and decided that I needed to work on regaining my health.
Jeff started with short walks in his neighborhood, but soon he was walking every day on the Cardinal Greenway.
More and more time on the trail as I got to appreciate just how nice it is out here and peaceful, and great exercise. And over the course of a year or so, lost about 85 pounds. So it became proof to me that it was a healthy endeavor.
Health is Wealth is supported by Meridian Health Services and LifeStream Services. The history of America is closely connected with the history of railroads. The Transcontinental Railroad was completed in 1869, allowing freight and passengers to cross the continent in a week. During the Indiana gas boom a couple decades later, the Ball brothers relocated their company to Muncie after the town gave them a free gas well and a railroad connection right into their factory. But the total miles of railroad across America peaked in 1916, and today it sits at about half that peak, just under 140,000 miles.
The Cardinal Greenway came to be in 1993. A group of businessmen knew that CSX was about to sell an abandoned rail line. And so this group of businessmen thought, we really need to see if we can get everything in place and purchase that land from the railroad and make it a bike trail, a walking bike trail.
They ended up forming a private nonprofit and bought about 60 miles of rail line across 5 counties, with the first 10 miles of trail opening in 1998.
Our founding members chose to be a paved trail because they wanted it to be user-friendly for more different types of user groups. So we have the walkers, runners, bicyclists. It's wheelchair accessible, so it's ADA compliant.
They also purchased the abandoned Wysor Street Depot in Muncie, which had been built in 1901 for $15,000. The restored depot opened as Cardinal Greenway headquarters in 2004.
We like to call it our $1 million baby. So as much as we could, we kept it at how it looked, original. The floors are original. A lot of the woodwork that you'll see when you come visit us is the original woodwork. We have this railroad history with us, but we have the coolest office because, how many people have offices inside a restored depot that step out the back door and you're on our Cardinal Greenway trail system?
They finished the final stretch of that original purchase in 2011, opening the trail section from Losantville to Richmond.
We were easily able to boast that we were the longest rail trail in the state of Indiana. We still are, but there are many great trail groups knocking at our door. A healthy, competitive atmosphere in the state of Indiana for trails.
In 2018, the trail hit 2 big milestones. It turned 25 years old, and it earned even more bragging rights with induction into the National Rails to Trails Conservancy Hall of Fame. Now, bragging rights are great, but the real question is, how much do people use the trail? It's tough to measure exactly because someone could hop on the trail for a half mile in the city, or they could take a 20-mile bike ride through the countryside. But based on some previous trail counts, Angie estimates people take about 400,000 trips on the Cardinal Greenway every year. And many of those trips are Jeff Howe out for his regular walk. After his accident and his surgeries, walking made sense as the best place to start.
Walking was probably the easiest thing. Was not in a position to run. I've done some swimming in the past, but walking was the most accessible. Put your shoes on, go outside, and you can do it anywhere. You can just about do it in any weather if you dress appropriately. So it just seemed like the easiest thing to do to get started.
Walking is great exercise, but it also has some unique benefits. It's a low-impact exercise, which makes it a good form of exercise for people who have joint pain or arthritis and can't do lots of other physical activities. It's also moderate intensity, so you can hold a conversation while walking. You can't really do that when you're playing tennis or swimming with someone. Walking and talking makes the time go by quickly, and it also adds an element of accountability. The social aspect is probably a big reason walking groups for moms are so popular. Well, that and the fact that your toddler is strapped into the stroller. The other big benefit is one Jeff mentioned. Walking is accessible to almost everyone. You don't have to learn new skills. You don't have to go to a specific place. And maybe most importantly, you don't have to buy expensive equipment or a gym membership. That's a big deal in East Central Indiana, where 42% of households are either below the poverty line or they're above the poverty line but struggle to pay for basic needs. Walking is available for anyone.
We're lucky to have that many trails around and so many opportunities. You don't even need a bike, you just need your feet and your heart and a t-shirt and a bottle of water to come over there and start walking. You might need your phone for music, or you can sing to yourself, but you just need to enjoy yourself and start with something, maybe 10 minutes a day, and then keep on increasing.
It's this wonderful snowball effect where if you can just get this ball rolling, it just starts to feed itself and it gets bigger and bigger. Once you start doing that little bit of activity, that little bit of exercise, you start to realize, my mood's better, I'm sleeping better. Because as we do exercise, it stimulates hormones and other endorphins, neurochemicals like serotonin and dopamine that give us those sensation of happiness, of pleasure, of reward that then just motivates us to keep doing it more. And so that snowball starts going downhill, gets bigger, and it's great. So it's getting that initial mental component started.
This is exactly what happened to Jeff. Once he started walking, he fell in love with walking on the Cardinal Greenway.
Not a product of wanting to strive for more, just enjoying it more. When I pass somebody on the trail, I almost always say, good morning or good afternoon. And if I happen to be going the same way, sometimes conversation. Stopping to smell the roses, listening to the birds. The blue jays are incredibly blue this year for some reason. Not a birder, but always looking the blue jays, the cardinals.
Jeff experienced that snowball effect. The more he walked, the more he enjoyed it. The more he enjoyed it, the more he walked. And now he walks almost 3,000 miles a year. He said walking has been healing for both his spirit and his body.
Well, I think it's helped my core, which again is kind of one of those things that's being more recognized as being important for balance and just your skeletal structure. So I feel like I have better balance, better cardiovascular, lower blood pressure. I would just recommend, if you're unsure about how you want to get started on physical fitness, I would start walking. And like I say, it's a great environment to be in every day.
If you liked learning about the snowball effect, you'll love season 1 of Health is Wealth, which was all about building habits. All those episodes are still on our YouTube channel, and make sure to subscribe for our future episodes. Next week, is it true that sitting is the new smoking? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.